So we're going to talk about making pooled handles for our mug today. Pooled handles are a great way to make a handle that's really elegant, smooth, but also strong. Now the big idea here is, especially for a beginner, you're going to make at least 2 handles per mug. But you might have to make more than 2 until you get it right. We're going to make the handles separately, bend them, allow them to dry. We want to get them to just leather hard but still flexible. Then we're going to trim them and attach them to our mugs. So to get started with making pooled handles, you'll need to set up your workstation. Newspaper laying flat on the table, and I would use a bucket or a large mixing bowl filled partially with water. You're also going to need a sponge, a fettling knife, and a project board to put your work. Grab a small handful of soft plastic stage clay. Whether it's scraps or not, you want to spend a little bit of time kneading the clay or wedging it. You want to mix that so it's a really even, smooth consistency in your hands. So squeeze hard back and forth, but try not to trap any air into the clay. Next, you're going to start compressing the clay by slapping it into a ball in your curved hand. You want to turn this regularly. Now what's going to happen is you're going to start to flatten this out into a carrot shape. So you curve your hand and press and turn as the clay elongates in your hands. So you're going to end up with kind of an elongated coil that's pointy on the ends. Mine is enough for 2 handles, so I'm twisting that apart. I'm going to continue to press this into a pointed cone or carrot shape. I'm going to also then press it onto the table on my newspaper. Gently compress that clay. Compression is important for strength, but also I want to get this really smooth. Next, use one hand to gently roll the clay to get this smooth and even on all sides. It should look like a carrot. To start pulling the clay, I'm going to use a damp sponge and I'm going to press this and compress the clay in an elongated motion. This will stretch and flatten the clay slightly. You want to use your fingers to shape the sponge into a nice round shape. You're starting to shape the handle at this stage. Flip this over regularly to keep both sides smooth. Also smooth the sides as you go. If you want a wider handle, you're going to use a thicker carrot shape. If you have a narrower carrot shape, you're going to end up with a narrower handle. Now we're going to begin pulling this. This is the most important part. Keep the hand holding the clay nice and dry, or that'll be hard to hold on to. Notice the shape of your dominant hand, how you could change the shape of the handle, flattened or curved. You're going to wet the dominant hand and you're going to gently pull the clay down. Now you are not squeezing very hard. Notice I'm flipping and turning it every time as well. It may be helpful to place this over top of your bucket so that way any drips or anything are caught there and you can regularly re-wet your hand. Again, remember to keep your opposite hand dry so it's easy to hold the clay. Make sure your hand goes down off the bottom of the handle every single time, otherwise you'll end up with uneven thickness. Now it's natural for it to be tapered a little thicker to thinner. Apply a little more pressure at the top and ease off pressure as you move down. You can use the skin between your fingers to smooth the sides and edges of your handle. Turn it and do both sides. Now the idea behind pulling a handle is you're compressing and aligning the clay particles at a microscopic level. This will make the handle much stronger and less likely to crack in the drying and the firing. The other benefit is the way we're shaping this creates a naturally smooth organic handle that's comfortable to hold. One option I like to do sometimes is to create a finger group for my thumb. So you curve your fingers and compress your thumb in the center of the handle and gently glide it down. You're going to create that little dip that makes your fingers fit right in there when you hold the handle on the mug. So you're going to ease up pressure as you go and then gently smooth this off. When you're done, when your handle is at least a few inches long and the thickness of the handle relates to the thickness of the rim. The width can be anything you'd like. It's okay if the handle's a little thicker than the rim also, but you don't want it way thicker. Not only is this important for equal drying, but visually, you want the 2 pieces to look like they belong together. You want a thinner handle on a thinner mug. You want a thicker handle on a chunkier, beefier mug. So look at what you have and design it to fit. Make sure you have a project board within reach. Now you're going to gently bend that handle just once, don't unbend it. You're going to connect it at the base and smush it down right onto that piece of wood. This is really important so it holds your handle and it's going to dry naturally in a curve. Pay attention to the curve that you have and make sure it's a curve that's going to look good on your mug. Make sure you have a nice curve on the outside and the negative space of your handle. Make sure you have enough clay sticking out so that this could be trimmed to attach to your mug later. We're going to leave this on the board until it becomes leather hard, but still flexible. That way we're less likely to mess it up when we attach it. Now to gently bend them, the easiest way is to take your hand and place it underneath the handle where it's going to bend and gently curve it around just once. Then you're going to attach the two ends together to make a little loop and press it right down onto the board. You want to smush it to the board to help it stick so it's less likely to fall over. It's best to let these in the open air until they're not so delicate anymore. Then, if you need to, you can wrap them in plastic, but keep these protected and keep them leather hard, nice and flexible still. So let's speed it up and take a look at making another handle. Sometimes when you're pulling, you end up with a thick little bump on the very end of the handle. If this happens, just pinch off that little chunk and save that in your scraps. Be sure to let these dry and become soft leather hard before you move on to attaching them to your mugs. So pay attention to how they're drying, or wrap them and cover them and keep them safe.